When God calls you in a certain direction, there's always a choice. Either you walk in His plan, or you fight against it. But here's the thing. Fighting against God's plan never brings peace. It only leaves you restless, drained, and stuck in cycles you can't seem to escape. You might not even realize it right now, but some of the struggles you face could be signs that you're resisting what God is trying to do in your life. Think about Jonah for a moment. God told him to go to Nineveh, but Jonah ran in the opposite direction. He thought he knew better. He thought he could escape God's plan. But what happened? He ended up in a storm, tossed overboard, and swallowed by a great fish. Jonah's story reminds us of something we often forget. When you fight God's plan, the struggle only grows stronger. The Bible gives us clear warnings about what happens when we resist God. Proverbs chapter 19 verse 21 tells us, "You can make many plans, but the Lord's purpose will prevail." That means no matter how hard you try to go your own way, God's plan will always be bigger and stronger than yours. You can resist Him, but you can't outrun Him. And the longer you fight, the more exhausted you'll feel. So what are the signs that you're fighting God's plan? Let's go through them together. The first sign is constant restlessness. You can't find peace no matter how hard you try. Your mind is always racing, your heart always unsettled. That's because peace only comes when you're aligned with God's will. Isaiah chapter 26 verse 3 reminds us, "You will keep in perfect peace all who trust in you, all whose thoughts are fixed on you." If peace is missing, it could be that you're pushing against God's direction. The second sign is doors that keep closing. You try again and again to make something work, but it feels like every attempt falls apart. Sometimes closed doors are God's way of protecting you. Revelation chapter 3 verse 7 says, "What He opens, no one can close, and what He closes, no one can open." If God is shutting certain paths, it's because He has a better one prepared for you. The third sign is disobedience that leads to regret. Deep down, you know God asked you to let go of that relationship, that habit, or that choice. But instead of obeying, you hold on. And every time you do, regret follows. Just like Jonah, you realize that running from God only makes the journey harder. Disobedience doesn't bring freedom. It only creates chains. The fourth sign is exhaustion without progress. You're busy, but you're not fruitful. You're working, but the results don't match the effort. That's what happens when you're walking in your own strength instead of relying on God's. Psalm chapter 127 verse 1 says, "Unless the Lord builds a house, the work of the builders is wasted. Unless the Lord protects a city, guarding it with sentries will do no good." Fighting God's plan always drains you because you're building without His blessing. The fifth sign is conviction you can't shake off. No matter how far you go or how much you try to ignore it, you keep hearing that quiet voice inside calling you back. That's the Holy Spirit. John chapter 16 verse 8 says, "And when He comes, He will convict the world of its sin, and of God's righteousness, and of the coming judgment." That conviction is not there to condemn you, but to guide you back to God's plan for your life. Now let's talk about how this applies to your life. Maybe you've been restless. Maybe you've been chasing things that never seem to work out. Maybe you've been ignoring God's nudges. The good news is that it's not too late to stop fighting and surrender. Surrender doesn't mean weakness. Surrender means strength, because it allows God to take control and lead you where He wants you to be. If you're tired of running, it's time to pause. Pray and ask God, "Lord, am I fighting against You? Show me where I've resisted Your plan. Give me the courage to let go and trust You." When you do that, you'll find a peace this world can't give. You'll find that His plan, even if it feels uncertain now, is far better than anything you could design on your own. Remember, God isn't trying to take something good away from you. He's trying to give you something greater. But you'll never experience it if you keep holding on to what He's asking you to release. Stop running. Stop resisting. Trust Him. Because the moment you align with His plan, everything changes. So today, ask yourself, am I fighting God's plan or walking in it? If you realize you've been resisting Him, don't be discouraged. God's grace is still here. He's still waiting. He's still ready to lead you into His perfect plan.